Okay, people, it is December 2nd, 2018. I got in a whole lot faster this time. Everything's still being done on the fly here, though. So it's like almost 8 o'clock in the morning. Still don't know how to use this very well. And basically what I want to say here is we got 53 years to live in death. All right. What that means is my daughter just started this. You can come in, you're one viewer with your thumbs down. Or is that a thumbs up? That's a thumbs up. You see, it's a good thing I have dollar store glasses. Okay, well, thanks for the thumbs up. All right, we just got on, so we're going to make this quick because everybody's busy today. Busy. Right? We all got things to do, so I don't want to hold you up for too long, okay? So, I'm just trying to fight depression here, people. Don't let the depression take you over. You take control of the depression. So the best way for me to think about that is to think about, well, if Shmei was alive, what would be her life expectancy? And through my reading of articles, right, it has already been stated that in the province of British Columbia, Canada, the life expectancy, which means for the total population of the province, which is about 4.6 million people, okay, the total population has dropped in terms of life expectancy. So for Shmei being a young woman at age 22, if that is the case, I did just some quick numbers, right? Let's just say the life expectancy from age 86 for a woman has dropped down to 75 now due to fentanyl. Because this is strictly related to what's happening in our community across the province in terms of the numbers of death, because Shmei is not only an isolated incident, she's just, a statistic to a larger phenomenon, right? And through that phenomenon, what's happened is the life expectancy in the province of British Columbia has dropped. So taking that for face value, I brought it down to where women today in their 20s, instead of living to 86 like they should, they're now dying off by age 75 in the greater pool of the life expectancy for the province because of so many deaths. So if you can live for 53 years in death, what would you do? If you were like, couldn't do anything, but you could do something for 53 years based on that statistic that you should have lived until at least age 75, what would you have done in those 53 years of your life while walking this planet? So I'm thinking, okay, well, paperwork, right? What else can you do? As a ghost, really, what else can you do but paperwork, right? There's got to be some kind of meaning for my daughter's life and for her death at such an early age, because realistically, she should have lived until at least age 75, even though the provincial statistic for life expectancy has dropped. So I'm just trying to stay positive on that, people, because what that means is, with my eyesight going, like, honest to God, I run around the house sometimes just purposely without wearing these dollar store glasses, because it's a combination between the dollar store glasses, the computer, because I look at the computer a lot, right? And now I'm like, the last little video that I did there was just a prelude to some of the outfits that I have back from 2005 and 6, 7, and 8. And I had some models come in and model some video, like some outfits for me. And so I got some beautiful pictures that I'm going to merge together, and then I'm going to make a video with it. Then I'm going to upload it to this channel, and then I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again. So what you're going to do now is you're going to see a run of several videos of outfits that I made over the years, because I'm coming up for my federal review by December 26th, the latest, for the United States of America. And I want to spruce up the website and just update a couple of pages. So I'm really just trying to focus in on taking care of that before I go into the 53 years with my daughter, right? In terms of paperwork, right? Because if she was alive, what would she be doing for 53 years? And then maybe that just might help me to kind of like grasp the, I don't want to say burden because it's not a burden. The chore, you know, it's when somebody dies and it's a wrongful death or whatever you think it is in terms of it being a wrongful death, whether it's a murder, whether it was manslaughter, or however these people that work in that system determine as to what is the cause of death. Oh, I'm hearing something. You know, okay, I lost my train of thought. I get emotional. That's what happens. So you either accept what people tell you, right? Oh, well, and I have another little list. This is how it went for Shimei. When she went into the hospital, and as soon as they discovered that there was fentanyl and cocaine, well, cocaine first in her blood system, it was, she must have been doing it to herself. You just didn't know. You didn't know. She was a drug addict and you just didn't know. She did it to herself. So they blamed the victim. Hospital staff victimized the victim twice. That's the first thing. So it's no wonder that people are losing their life expectancy based on an attitude like that, right? Because we're not talking about just Shimei. We're talking about the 4.6 million people that live in the province of British Columbia, Canada, whose life expectancy has dropped due to people like Shimei, that there is never no restitution, resolution, or justice, right? Because it's deemed either as a suicide. Now, these are rubber stamps coming in from the coroner's office, okay? A public servant who says they have no interest in kickbacks, even though that public servant is in their 30s wanting to work. Hold on. I just noticed the comments now. So give me a minute. I'll read up on them and then I'll discuss it with you. So this is how the rubber stamp goes. Well, there's four. First, as soon as you go into the system, she did it to herself. They victimized the victim twice, right? This is hospital staff, okay? Even if you, as a parent, as a husband, or as a wife, or as a brother, or a sister, or an uncle, or an aunt, or a son, or a daughter, you go in and you say, something's wrong here. It's suspicious. You need to investigate. You get whoever it is that you are in partnership, your stakeholders. This is hospital staff. Who are they working with? Because they're sure in the hell not working with the public people. Okay, in many ways, they're working against us. I'm living testimony to that, right? And if you go in and you suspect that something devious happened to your loved one, it wasn't a natural cause, it wasn't suicide, it wasn't nobody's fault, right? It wasn't an accident, but maybe more like manslaughter, murder, you know, things that you only watch on TV that never happens in the real world, right? Just read the comments, lost my train of thought again. That's okay. We're still testing this out, right? I got on a whole lot faster than I did before, so that's an improvement. Right? I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the next 53 years of my life, assuming that I'm going to be alive because I'm already 57. And hell, if I live to 108 years old still talking about this crap, then I'm doing pretty damn good. So, but I realistically don't think I'm going to live for another 53 years. But based on that statistic, Shimei should have lived for another 53 years. And what the hell, if she would have lived, what would she have done in those 53 years? Well, you know what, people, we're never going to find out what she could have done or what she would have done because she never got the chance. And that's the point of this video, right? I'm giving her a chance to live for another 53 years based on to live in death. So it's all going to be paperwork, which means I'm going to have to hone in my skills on how to get freedom of information, because I want the information on how the coroner of this province, British Columbia, Canada, rubber stamps, suicide, accident, nobody's fault in each and every case of fentanyl deaths across the province, which has been documented to bring down the life expectancy for the 4.6 million people who live here. And that number is dropping every year. So what? We're going to go through 10, 15 years before the cops wake up and start doing their fucking job so that the life expectancy could be 65? Everybody that's 30 today, do you want to die at 65 because the life expectancy across the province is dropping because the cops are failing to do their fucking job? Is that it? And that's for women. We live longer than men. So if there's any men listening, really, you need to pay attention to it, because your life expectancy, you're not immune. There is no immunity. The only immunity that there is going on in this province is through the public union sector. That's the only people who have immunity. Everybody else is fair game. Seriously. Uncle John was fair game. He was a male, right? So life expectancy from women from 83 drops down to 75, right? Within now. So in another 10 more, 15 more years, that 75 drops down to 65 for women, which will put men at what? 57, 58, 60 maybe. Women tend to live about, 5 more years? Do men today want to be dying when they're 50? Because the cops failed to do their fucking job, because the public union sector, as a stakeholder, is going around rubber stamping each and every fentanyl death in the province of British Columbia with either they did it to themselves, they must have been a closet junkie, they must have been doing this, you just didn't know, to, oh, well, okay, now that you got my attention, we're going to go look in the medical files out of, this much, and take out just one page with 2 paragraphs and say, no, they were suicidal. Says right here, at age 10, 14, whatever it was, 22, young person just had, a whole bunch of shit happen to them. They were depressed that day, but, but they were suicidal back then, so they must have did it to themselves. To, oh, well, gee, now that you convinced me that it wasn't suicide because, you came back with your backup, right? Now we're going to just say it was a fucking accident and not blame anybody for it. If it's an accident, whose fault is it? Chimay is not Chimay's fault. It's not all those thousands of people dying each year in the province of British Columbia. They're not the ones bringing in this fucking fentanyl. But it's being rubber stamped as nobody's fault, accident, suicide, and they did it to themselves. What kind of policing is that? And that's not including the thugs going around in the community and stepping on people's heads, and people go home and they got a fucking headache, go to the hospital, and next thing you know, the plug's being pulled because they're brain dead. That just happened with the little house people, right? Cops are there with the fucking, they're doing this, and they put that little house on lockdown for over 24 hours to get a fucking warrant for the place. I have the actual warrant. Because Wesley was at the freaking gas station and somebody jumped him. A couple of people fucking jumped him, stomped on his head. He ran off, ran back to the house, sat around for a bit, said, oh my God, my head hurts so much, got to the hospital. By the time he got to the hospital, within an hour, he was on life support, and within 4 hours, the plug was pulled. But not Chimay. Oh no. They jump-start a dead body, rush her off to the fucking hospital knowing that she's fucking dead. Right? Hook her up to the machines. Tell us that she's really, really sick. Don't tell us she's dead. They just tell us she's really, really fucking sick. So that gives them the excuse to keep her on those machines, to the point where by day 8, she was in the decomposition mode. Right? But not Wesley. They pulled the plug on him the fucking day he showed up, as they grandstanded at the little house and embarrassed me. Right? Gave the neighbors an excuse not to want to help the homeless people. Right? You know why this guy right here next door to me doesn't want to rent me the house? Oh, because he doesn't like junkies. He's broad sweeping right there. I've already had problems. It's down the grapevine. Everybody that rents out to homeless people has problems. And I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm not wishing you no bad ill, but because these are my neighbors, whoever the fuck moves in, right? And if it doesn't work out, because there is no guarantees in life, then talk to me again, because I'm still interested. Well, I left it at that. I'm not going to push them, right? They know. They're not stupid. But what can you do? So I got all these homeless people running around with nobody wanting to advocate for them. But as soon as one gets stomped on, right? You know, it's in public. They go and they fucking grandstand over some fucking house that they know is fucking empty and ready to be tore down, right? Chasing everybody around trying to get questions and answers. As they pull the plug on the dude, not even on the first day that he shows up. Well, they didn't. His significant other said he doesn't want to be in this state. These are his wishes. Pull the plug. And because the doctors had determined there was no brain or whatever the fuck was wrong with his brain from being stomped on, they did it. That constitutes an investigation. That constitutes grandstanding. That constitutes collecting evidence and harassing people to say things that they don't necessarily know what to say. Someone like Chimay, though, which is over 1,000 people in the province of British Columbia dying each and every year because of fentanyl. I'm not going to go on a rant because I've already ranted enough. I got to save some of this energy for today because I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing. I've already started. But, you know, with people like the 1,136 individuals that die across this province each and every fucking year now due to fentanyl, which is dropping down the freaking life expectancy for each and every person in this province, male or female, right? The coroner is just running around in partnership with the cops in the fucking hospital, just going, rubber stamp, did it to herself, rubber stamp, suicide, rubber stamp, accident, rubber stamp, nobody's fault. I mean, that's the big one. Nobody's fault. Like, how does that work, people? How does 1,000 and some people die every freaking year and it's nobody's fault? Oh, my God. So if that is the fucking case, Chimay is going to live in death for 53 years through paperwork because that's her only voice to stand up to the corruption that is in our society, because this is corruption. Yes, it is. Yup. I read that one, came in, caught it. It is. This is corruption. And normally people don't have 53 years to fight. Never mind in paperwork, bureaucracy, you know, the red tape, the backlog, the missing files, the edited files, the veto files, the files that have been falsified. Right? It's not just simply get me some paper and let me read it. You have to freaking figure this shit out. And you have to catch them in their fucking lie with a backup to prove that they lied. As your loved ones are being, I want to say murdered, but as they're being, I don't know, what? Kicked out the door? Is life just a door that we just kick them out of? And say, get out, you're on your own. You're out in the big black abyss now. There is no heaven, there is no hell, so get the fuck out. It doesn't matter where you go. So, I got 53 years plus to work on paperwork. Because whatever I do, I'll make sure that in my will, it's written that it's passed on to somebody responsible to follow up on it. That's not just going to take boxes full of shit and throw it in the fucking garbage, right? Because now that I'm on this mission, I want to know statistically where these rubber stamps are going through the coroner's office when it relates to fentanyl deaths in black and white. I don't want to just see a video or read a little article, right? Because that could be hearsay. Because if the shit ever goes to court, if you get it in black and white, to prove that the coroner is being biased, to prove that the coroner is part of the conspiracy in terms of the public union sector manipulating the statistics and the general perception that it was an accident, so therefore forget it, she's out the fucking door, never look back. deal with the consequences, even though your life might be in danger because of it, because nobody goes to jail in the province of British Columbia for fentanyl deaths. So therefore, you become a sitting duck to that information train if you're outspoken about it, like me. Not to mention, even if you stay quiet, because then you become in more danger. Right? Because it's like psychological abuse. Right? So my day, though, is not about this. My day is just, well, this is about putting it down so I don't forget. Because as I sit here, kids are sleeping, right? And I'm thinking, okay, you're still alive. Your heartbeat's still going. Doesn't look like you're going to die anytime soon. So, how do you want to live your life, right? How can you cope with whatever's going on? And so I have to compartmentalize, the different parts of my life, like the yard and, blah and blah and blah, right? So this is what this is. This is not putting my daughter in the grave. Right? Because I can't even say rest, people, because we all know that if you get murdered, you're not in rest. Nobody's being restful if they got attacked, right? Whether it was violently or passively, okay? People kill people with rat poison. People kill people with fucking arsenic. People do all kinds of crazy shit with other dangerous substances. And if those people can go to fucking jail for that shit, then you might as well put in fentanyl in that group, right? Yeah, exactly. Get off the old okie dokie. Get off the freaking bandwagon of it was rubber stamp, shit to herself. Rubber stamp, suicide. Rubber stamp, accident. Well, now that you called me on it, rubber stamp, nobody's fault. That's asinine. That's like living in a fairyland. Seriously, that's what that is. And all it does is put every single person in this province, 4.6 million, last time I checked, in jeopardy of in the next 10 years of dying between the ages of 57 for males and 65 for females versus 86 and 79 in terms of the average life expectancy. Well, in a two-tiered healthcare system, some get good healthcare and other ones don't. Right? It's not simply you die at 65. It's also what kind of healthcare are you going to get at age 65, depending on how much money is in the bank account. Even though we profess ourselves to be a province with a universal medical healthcare program, which is a bunch of crock, right? So now that I've gotten that off my chest and I've kind of like got it documented in video, because really, as I sit here, I think, and I'm like, get the wipeout board, just start putting it in, but you don't have no place for it. And, you got to focus your energies where they're most important. If you just do a quick little live, see how fast you can get on, try and spit out what you want to say. And then this way, if and when you do have time to get to that whiteout board, you can come back, look at the video, and then you can piece in that what I was trying to tell you in terms of the point blank information. There's 4.6 million people living in the province. Out of that number, since the fentanyl crisis that hit the province of British Columbia, Canada, the life expectancy has gone down by 10, 11 years. If it keeps up with this rate in the next freaking 10, 12 years, it's going to drop just as much, equal to, right? So, like when is the public union sector going to wake up? Seriously. Do they honestly think that they're immune to death? Do they honestly think that they're immune to being murdered within their own families? As if they don't have problems in their own families because they work for the government? Somehow they're immune in their own fucking families and nothing bad ever happens to them? Right? Anyway, so I'm actually working on dancer costume pictures. That's what I'm going to work on for the next 2 or 3 days. I want 4 videos because I'm working on hopefully getting 2 or 3 maybe 2 web pages made and then a few of them just quickly updated. But what's happening is I'm having to get back into, the guts of the computer in terms of HTML and learning how to reuse programs. And like if you like the last video, I was panning in and panning out, and I don't, this program is on this computer and I haven't used it for a long time because my XP crashed and my button, and I have to get that fixed, otherwise I'm going to lose a lot of files out of there, right? So I'm using this program, and I found the old pictures that I was looking for. So today I'm going to start piecing them together. I'm using the free, what is that called, YouTube MIDIs or whatever they've got there in terms of their music. So I'm just because I don't want to deal with copyright right now. And then I'm going to have the 4 pictures. This is how I'm planning the web page in my head. Okay, I don't think just about Chimay all day. I think about other things too. So I'm okay. How are you going to plan this web page where it's really, really easy and it gets to the point? Because this is, remember, from the United States of America, right? Do you see that? That's what I'm working on, right? And I got 20 days to do it. So I'm having to get into old programs and without it in direction book. So it's a lot of excess clicking. It's like trying to figure out how to start a live stream. You got to click 50 times just to figure it out, right? My brain works, but it always doesn't work very well when it comes to some things. Some things I have to be repetitive. I prefer writing and reading and then doing, and then both, right? So I want 4 videos. So I'm going to try and do just 4 basic videos with these cropping of pictures, panning in with some imported YouTube music, upload them, and then I'm going to make a web page, right? With just pictures, non-moving pictures somehow in the web page with the 4 videos, one there, one there, one there, one there, with a bunch of pictures in the middle, right? And then obviously upload that to the website and then use that as a specimen when I deal with this federal trademark, right? And then once I do that, which I have to do like in the next 4 days, if I'm going to do it 5 days, then I'll update I'm going to update the board directors where I have them. And I may even take that section and then import it into another page, like the accounting page or the minutes page. I could put it into the minutes page because there's nothing in the minutes page. So maybe I'll just import that into the minutes page. And I don't know. So that's what I'm doing for the next couple of days. I'm just working on videos with the outfits that I have, still many of them, and some pictures that I have around them. And I am going to not get depressed. And I'm going to stay positive on this in terms of 53 years of living while in death, right? My daughter has a right to live for another 53 years at least, based on the statistics in the province of British Columbia, with the life expectancy dropping. And I'm taking back her life. And I'm going to do the best that I can. And then, after I'm gone, whatever it was that I organized, somebody else can pick up on it, because I doubt I'll live for 53 years. And then maybe then we'll just get some justice, if not beforehand. Sounds real cool. Look forward to the vids. Yeah, well, I'm going to do that. I have to, right? 18 years I've been working on this nonprofit. I got this trademark in the year 2000. Trust me, I have been working hard, really hard. I have a lot of love for the American people. I really do. I even after all these years and all this hardship and all the bumps and all this other stuff that's been going on, I still believe that people power is the best thing that we have in terms of a society. And I do believe in solidarity and nationalism and all that other stuff, right? Like the stuff that's going on in Mexico right now with the South Americans coming up, because there's several countries that are starting to come up. And, I don't know what's going to happen if they get up into the millions with this caravan coming in, because if it starts pushing it into 1 million like it was in in Europe and places like that, it's really going to become a very human catastrophic event. So more reason to continue working on a nonprofit, right? Because it's always been about countries coming together, United States and Canada, to deal with the social issues that we're dealing with, whether it's life expectancy dropping because of fentanyl, or whether it's because of homelessness, or whether it's because of lack of children's programs, or whatever, elderly programs, or whatever it is. And I mean, there's, life is a bouncing ball. You're going to bounce from over here. Everybody's got something that they need, right? So that's what foundations are for. They're supposed to help with that stuff. So that's what I'm working on right now. Life is for living, for sure. Power to yes, for sure. Got mission on. Thanks for the inspiration. Well, yeah, it's like almost 8:30 in the morning, so we got to get up on it, right? Okay, I do have to get up on it. I don't have much more to say other than what I was going to say. I just wanted to say what I said so that when I do take it to a wipeout board, I can put it in there. The life expectancy has dropped, because in my mind, I like taking little notes, and then I get all this big pile of paper with all these little notes, and they all start to accumulate, and then I have to sit there at some point and go through them and check them off and type them out, and that's assuming that I ever get to the little notes to do it, but eventually I do. Okay, I'm going to let you go, people. Thank you very much. I have to start my day. Okay, peace out.